Hey, how's it going? Right on, right on. Well, I'm selling the Purple People Eater to a good friend, but I'm still selling one of my most prized bikes. And I'm incredibly grateful that he stepped up, was willing to purchase one, and that he's going to take care of it like a piece of art, which is kind of how I built all these bikes. Anyhow, I'm going to be taking some parts off of it that he doesn't need or want, and putting them back up for sale on eBay. So at the end, I'll let you know how you can get hold of eBay and find where these parts are if you want a shot at them. And while I'm doing that, I just wanted to give you an update on my medical situation, what's going on with me medically and what has been happening, where has you guys' money been going, and what the situation is. So before I start, this is the Purple People Eater. It was designed as a single speed / fixie urban bike camping bike. I have a complete set of bike bags that have been built for this bike, a triangle bag, front bag, seat bag. They're all matching purple, and I never ever got to use it for what I designed it for and what the artistic intent was, but there was a lot of effort and a lot of time put into this bike. So anytime I'm doing stuff like this, it's a little bit hard for me emotionally. Anyhow, back to the medical stuff. Last time we talked, I hadn't told you about the insurance issue. The insurance issue is that when I was in the hospital, I didn't have insurance, and they came in to my bedroom and they asked me, or they rather said, you qualify for insurance, so let's get you some insurance to cover this stuff. So I was like, yes, right on. So they fill out paperwork, they ask me questions, and they say, yeah, we think you can totally get health insurance, and that's not going to be a problem at all. And boy, that grip's on there, man. I have to, there we go. Sorry. And so I go down the path after they diagnose me with the double pulmonary embolisms in both lungs, and with the afibrillation with my heart. They set me out on this path to take care of this. Like, they set up appointments with specialists and stuff like that. And for 2 months plus, I'm going to these appointments, and they're like fairly often, like once a week, once every 2 weeks, I'm going in and checking in on them, because this is kind of like life and death stuff. So a while ago, you guys see that? That thing blew up like a piece of bubblegum. So a while ago, I got a phone call right before a procedure, right? I was on this path with the cardiologist who was saying, we want to do this, this, and this, and this, and this is our final resort to do to try to help you get out of AFib. And part of that was taking medication for a certain amount of time. It was about 3 weeks to do the full run of the script. And at the end of the 3 weeks, they were going to have me come in, and they would do an EKG on me. And if I was still in AFib, they were going to give me the shock, right? They were going to try to shock that shit out of me. And about a week, 5 days before that appointment to go in and do that, after taking the medication for, almost a month, I got a phone call that says, oh, we don't cover your insurance. Sorry. And I was like, well, what do I do? And they're like, that's up to you. You have to take care of that. I'm like, come on, man. You guys are like cardiac specialists. You don't have any advice on how to hand me off or what to do? I want to talk to your boss. So I totally Karened it. But I ended up talking to the boss, and he said, "Oh, I totally understand where you're coming from. My kid went through this, that, and the other thing, and insurance did this, that, and the other thing to me. And so I totally understand your plight, and I'm totally going to help you out. I will get hold of this other provider, and I will set you up with what you need because you're right in the middle of like a life-saving kind of path, right?" And they said, "You'll hear back from us in the next week. You'll hear back from us." Never heard back from them. So, after not hearing back from these guys, I called and said, WTF? Well, what up with this? And they said, "Oh, yeah, that's not our responsibility. That's all up to the patient. It has nothing to do with us." And I'm like, "What? Come on, man. I just had this conversation with who supposedly was the boss. They said that they were going to take care of this for me, get back to me, and let me know what the situation really is." And they said, "Well, yeah, no, not so much." And so I fully Karened. I went gonzo. I was not having it. And so I called basically the human resources and at the hospital where I had been. And this is kind of like your last resort. Call them and tell them that you are torqued and you're not into it. And whatever complaints you might have. And so I did that. And I because I told him, I said, what do you do if I have a medical episode in between this transition? And that's seems like it would be probably a pretty decent lawsuit. So sure as shit, I lit a fire under some people, and they got hold of me and said, "Okay, these are the professionals that you can go to." They didn't give me someone that would transition me and help me transition. Instead, they gave me information. They said, "Here's your providers that are in network for you. This is what we suggest you do. Best to you. Sail on." And so it was left to me to figure out my own medical stuff. And I don't know how you guys are, but I'm not super good at that stuff. Medical stuff has always been left up to the insurance, to the doctors, to other people. It's never ever been me having to figure out what the F to do with it, right? So they give me this information, and I actually get some consideration. I get a phone call from a heart specialist from this other provider, the new provider, and they say, "Yeah, we want to see you on January 2, day after New Year's." And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do this. Let's get this going and keep it going." Because this happened almost at the beginning of December is when it fell off, and my treatment just stopped from then on. And so I was grateful that they hooked me up with that so quickly, but to be honest, it was just a huge pain in the ass. It was just miserable trying to get people to help me out, and for me, that seems like the wrong way to go about doing stuff, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of am like a compassionate softie. I want everyone to be okay. I don't want anybody to suffer. I want life to be okay. And I hate seeing people going through hard times and not being able to help them. And is this the right size? It is not. Okay. So I go in on January 2nd to my art specialist, and we go through a bunch of information, and he says to me, you might have lupus. I went, what's lupus? And he sort of described it for me, but I got to be honest with you, I didn't really understand, other than it has something to do with your immunities and stuff along those lines, like your immune system. Oh, by the way, this is what's coming off. Custom Purple Paul racer brakes with purple brake pads, of course, and a sweet bridge. How dope is that? Anyhow, so now I go into the cardiologist. We've done all this stuff, and he says it might be lupus. And I say to him, hey, I need to get a general practitioner too, because they kind of stiffed me on everything in that other network. So do you have anybody that you think is really good that I should go to? And he says, yeah, there's these guys down just 2 floors below me. You should go to them, and they should take care of you, and you should be good to go. And I was grateful for that. So I ended up getting hold of these people and making sure that they would take my insurance. Also, another thing, Purple Custom Paul Love Lever. Oh, it's so dope. Anyhow, these will be going up on eBay, and I'll let you guys know where to get them, because I'm trying to find some funds to help support all the crap that's happening in my life. You guys have donated like crazy, and I can't ask the people that have already donated like $400, $500, $600, $700 to donate anymore. It's just, they've been so generous already that it makes me sick to my stomach to even ask. But I do need help. We're not through this. The story continues, and I'm doing everything I can to try to find some money, man. So I'm selling bikes. I know that this is like a segue in the middle of my medical story thing, but I've got a lot of bikes that I have built up with like Paul componentry, Dura-Ace, all kinds of high-end stuff, brand new components on like 40-year-old bikes, and made them super awesome, and no one will buy them for even $500 effing dollars for a bike that's got $1,500 worth of parts on it, man. And it sucks. Sorry, I'm super frustrated, and I'm stressed about money, but who isn't? Anyhow, so this stuff will be going up on eBay, and I'll try to put a link or or there'll be some image or some information down below where you can go and find it. I'm also going to hopefully they'll allow me to put the link to my GoFundMe page, where people are sending in money and helping me out, and have made a world of difference. We're estimating that I'm going to end up needing about $20,000 by the time that this is done, and we're $3,500 into that, maybe a little less, 3,300, somewhere in there. And so we're nowhere close. We're like 18% of the way to where I need to get to. But anyhow, back to the bike. So my buddy's a fixie guy, and he doesn't need brakes. He doesn't want the brakes on there, and he doesn't necessarily need them. He's like, yeah, just take them off. So I ended up taking off a couple $100 off of the price of the bike. Just so you know, Purple People Eater went for $300 with all the Paul componentry on it, granted, but it's still got like a White Industries freewheel on it, matching purple fixie cog, custom done pedals, Mojo on the stem, all kinds of custom stuff on it, custom seat posts that, like, they don't come like that. No one makes a purple anodized post with a black top on it. I dare you to find one. Anyhow, so back to my medical stuff. As I'm going through these medical challenges, I am finding out that it is incredibly difficult to get health care for your teeth. Like any kind of dental care, they're pretty much like, yeah, no way. And the thing is what caused all of this originally, what I thought was an abscess from an impacted tooth in my mouth, a wisdom tooth that had ruptured in an abscess, and I thought I might be going septic. So I might be dying from blood poisoning, not from a heart and lung situation, but I thought blood poisoning. And that's why I even went to the hospital in the first place, was because I thought my tooth was going to kill me, right? But along the way, I found out no one provides insurance that will be taken by dentists. And for some reason, dentistry is not considered part of medical health or professional health for anybody on the level that it needs to be. Anyhow, sorry vetting. So I went to my first appointment with my general practitioner just this week, just 2 days ago. And he gave me information on a place that would take my insurance, and which is Molina Medicaid. And so on the 30th of this month, I'm going to go in and they're going to look at my teeth, and we'll find out then. I'm guessing that they're going to, first thing, the doctor is going to go, whoa, when he looks inside of my mouth. And the next thing he's going to say is, this is going to take 4 or 5 visits to do, kind of thing. Because my chewing locations on my molars, upper and lower, all of them have broken. The molars have shattered, and all on this side have lost half of the tooth. So I'm only chewing with half a tooth on the top and the bottom on the back left side. And the impacted wisdom tooth and shattered molar above it is on the lower right side. And then it feels like there's a cavity that's happening in the last molar that is intact on the upper right. So I don't know what they're going to do. I can't eat like food. Like, I have to eat soft food. I'm in pain constantly, and it sucks. Take care of your teeth, people. Dental healthcare is really, really important. Anyhow, I'm going to give that a rest for a second, work on the bike for a second, maybe de-stress a little bit. Makes me sad that I'm taking this stuff apart, but I am really grateful that it's going to someone that I really think is cool and that I love like a brother. If you have any capability of getting my art, purchasing my art, and keeping it as my art, I will give you a stupid good deal on bikes. Now, granted, I'm not going to sell a couple bikes. There are a couple bikes that are just off limits. My fat bike, totally off limits. My Surdy Crosscheck, totally off limits. The Ratfink chopper, totally off limits. Those ones are not going anywhere, and that's just how it is. That's just how it's going to be. I'll die in a gutter before I'm going to sell those bikes. God, I better not say shit like that. It come back to me. Ugh. Ooh. Anyway, I'm gonna have to undo this. Well, that's fun. Okay, that'll work. So, next I'm just taking off the spacers so that I can get to this Paul Components hanger, custom purple, super rad. Oh, and I went to the Paul website recently, and it looks like they are doing purple as kind of like one of their regular colors, and blue. Blue was I was the one who started blue for Paul Components. They said they had never ever done that shade of blue, and after that, they ended up having that shade of blue being offered all the time. So you're welcome. Anyway, how much of a stack do I need here? Think of purple, black purple, carbon, purple carbon. Oh my goodness. Oh, we don't need you come. Sorry, I obsess about the color scheme on my bikes. I want them to be just perfect. A little more. We can do one more purple. And that'll do her. That'll do her right there. Some of these components on this bike, like the seat post clamp and the stem cap, are from the Ultimate Machine Co. And they're out of Colorado. Super cool guy, just a local builder that builds stuff. If you get a chance, go buy some of his stuff. Go support that guy. He's an artisan. He makes awesome stuff. It's all machine type things, stuff like that. Anyway, so it looks like I am down the path on getting some medical treatment for my teeth. And that's a huge one for me. I mean, that makes me incredibly grateful because I'm constantly in pain. And everything that I've experienced over the last probably 3 years as far as medical stuff, it seems like the root of it has been my teeth. So, yeah. Oh, look at you. Look at how much more space we just gained. My bad. We can go with a bigger purple one. Come on. I'm going to edit out some of this, so don't be surprised when there's a right here. In fact, time out. Okay, time back in. What happened is there's this expander nut, right, for the stem. I don't like it. It's a little too wonky. It doesn't allow me to put the torque in a very specific amount on the stem. So I'm just going to put in a stem star, like one of those stem nut stars, real quick. Luckily, I've got the thwacker tool. This makes it so much easier, so much nicer. It just really makes a world of difference as far as setting it accurately and effectively. But I need to get that front tire on the ground. Can't be pounding into air or it won't set. That's all there is to it. So, in we go. Beauty, eh? You gotta have the right tools, man, to make it easy. I can't tell you how many years I spent setting those star nuts with completely the wrong tool. Without a doubt, the wrong tool. And I'm thinking there's some bearings out of line. There are. We should be close to there. And boom, bada bing. Anyhow, so that's kind of a medical update on me and an update on what's going on with my bikes. Again, I'm trying to sell my bikes. I've got way too many bikes. And they're all way overbuilt with just awesome parts. Like I went overboard. I'm like change every nut and screw so that they're matching colors, stuff like that on them. And I don't want to sell them, but I have to. And the truth is like material things are just material things, and I can't take any of it with me. But if some of it can help save my life, then let's go with that, right? Or at least that's kind of how I think. And let me see. Oh yeah. Torque to specifications. Another one of my favorite tools in the world. These torque wrenches are just awesome. The adjustable park tool torque wrench between 4 and 6 is probably the most handy tool out of all of my tools that I have. Especially like when I'm working in the shop at Pronghorn. Nice. What I end up doing is going over bikes a lot and checking they're torqued and put together correctly. And so this tool makes it so I can just zip through those things super fast and accurately and feel confident that the work I've done is appropriate and is going to do what it needs to do. Okay, next I need to take off the Chinelli bar bag rack assembly. They were like bar ends for a weird kind of product back in the day, but I kind of like the idea of being able to put them out in front, and I've got like this carbon tube that has Hope bar end plugs on it and everything, you know, and then I could hang my my front big bar bag off of it. And it did that. It worked great. I just never ever went out and camped. Like I said, this was supposed to be an urban bike camping bike. Like as in around, I live in Ogden, Utah, and we have parks and all kinds of stuff around here where you can go and hang out and camp. And we've got bike paths that are really cool. So what I was thinking is like, you know, like road trip with the boys, you know, single speed, around town, could be really fun. And it probably would have been, and maybe will be in the future. I've got a couple other bikes that are very similar to this. Did I mention I have a lot of bikes? And you're not cooperating with me, why? Oh, that's why. While I'm doing this, do you guys remember any of the bikes I built along the way that maybe you liked a little bit more? I mean, there's been like 40 something, 46 bikes that I've done over the last 4 years. And I'm just curious as to if anybody out there remembers any of them and, you know, likes any of them, or even more, maybe wants to buy one of them, which would be super awesome. And I am doing bike tune-ups as well. I've got a simple tune-up, which is just very, you shine it and go and make sure it shifts and works appropriately. Oh man, I dropped a bolt. You have to look for it right then or you're gonna lose it. Hang on. Found it. Interesting. Very interesting. Man, these old bar ends went on in a really weird way. They have a weird set pin that goes in. Maybe after I get it off, I'll show you what I mean, but I just want to get it off without losing parts. That, like that, and like that. Sweet. Now for the old alcohol trick, and this should be ready to go for my bro. Sweet. If you're not familiar with the alcohol trick, isopropyl alcohol sprayed onto your bar ends and into the grips makes it so that they slide really easily and you can position them very quickly. They stay mobile for a little bit, like slippery, like you can move them around and reposition them. Like if you're setting logos into a certain place, like what I'm doing right now. Sweet. And a couple bar end plugs and we should be done. This bike is ready to go. Some parts being decommissioned, taken off. And there we are. Right. Ding. Okay. Here we are. I'll do more of these little things. I kind of want to start doing stuff on bikes, but talking about different things. Like while I'm working on bikes, talking about what's going on in my life, in my head, in my heart, in my soul. And just kind of the bikes are in the background, unless we hit like a really kind of cool peach or part that I'll just like emphasize. Anyhow, thank you so much for stopping by the Neighborhood Bike Shop, and I hope to see you again. Love you. Later.